Yo, what's up? I'm Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Graffiti means different things to different people. To some, it's an eyesore, a piece of vandalism, a blight on the community. To others, it's an art form, a bunch of urban masterpieces, a loud shout of pride, and a burst of creative expression. Graffiti used to be something only found in back alleys and on condemned buildings, but today it's everywhere. On the freeways, on buses, on retail stores, on apartment buildings. No matter where you look in any urban area in the country, you will find graffiti. To those who create graffiti and to those who hate graffiti and want to get rid of it, it all comes down to a matter of pride. There's the pride of creation, of letting everyone know who and what you are, of achieving the kind of recognition and fame seemingly impossible to achieve in any other way. There's also another kind of pride, the pride of living in a clean and public property from urban vandalism, of being able to look at buildings that are not filled with other people's names, messages, and slogans. Cities across the nation are spending millions of dollars trying to solve this graffiti problem. Los Angeles County alone spends more than $150 million every year. But money alone is not enough. See, it takes more than money to get rid of graffiti. It takes a special kind of pride. The same kind of pride that the people creating graffiti possess. A pride that requires time, commitment, and dedication. People living in Sylmar, a small suburban community in Southern California, have that kind of pride, and they're slowly winning the battle against graffiti. The war is being fought by community volunteers, city removal groups, law enforcement agencies, legislators, and the courts. And their enemy appears in 3 different forms.
That writes everywhere.
Get a marker, spray can, uni, six, whatever. Get your name up wherever you can.
He wants people to see his name or his tag, and his motive is to simply gain recognition.
You go from kids who just like the tag, leave their moniker, and run, and to graffiti artists who take the spray can and turn graffiti into an art form.
Obvious, like the difference between something like this and a tag. Anyone can tag. Not anybody can like master the techniques of a spray can, control and can control.
Gang members write graffiti for a lot of reasons. They want to mark their territory. They want to issue challenges to other gang members.
In the last 10 years, it's changed. Before it was, this is my neighborhood, this is where I come from. Now, this is my neighborhood, and we deal, we kill, and we're proud of it.
It's expanded, exploded, proliferated. It's gotten much worse. If you visit any of the barrios that have had gangs for 40, 50 years, that initially had graffiti back when they began, the graffiti now is just almost mindless.
Graffiti has become a $4 billion problem for property owners all over the nation.
Right now in the city of Los Angeles, we're looking at 5,000 taggers. 1987, there was 500 taggers, so it's something that is proliferating.
It is a lot deeper than a lot of people think.
The idea is to let you know that graffiti is rocking and it's on the go. And there's a lot more to it if you check into it, but the problem is you're probably looking right through it.
It's not just like one kid on the town with a can. There's hundreds of kids that do it, you know, like, I mean, hundreds. Hundreds of new crews coming up all the time. Our crew is basically a bunch of taggers.
There was Tacky being tacky with his dry marks.
It's just a bunch of, you know, tight friends that hang out, you know, go to parties together and stuff, and then compare styles.
Frank 207, SJK, Coco 144, and the UGA. Phase 2, stay hot.
My crew is called WCA. It stands for a lot of things. West Coast Artists, Wicked Children, What Comes Around.
Well, my initial stands for Pride. From Crew UTI, stands for Using Imagination.
I'm Sugar from TQ.
Zone from STP, CR.
Sony one from MBT and TRF.
Higher from MBT and TRM.
There's too many of us to, stop. Nationwide.
It is a little frightening, it makes you feel like you want to get out of the area.
Virginia Tolk has lived in Sylmar for the last 44 years. Her front wall has become a popular target for local graffiti writers.
It's very upsetting because, you see that stuff all over your wall. It makes it degrades your property. It makes you feel degraded yourself.
The image that graffiti would create in the minds of the prospective buyers is that that's not necessarily a safe, quiet, wholesome neighborhood in which to live. And that necessarily affects property values.
Graffiti can be pretty upsetting when you pull into your place of business and you see it marked down. Customers will see it. They'll tend to associate gang problems with graffiti, a bad environment hanging around. It hurts your business overall.
Then it's going to become time to stop, to say, hey, enough's enough. We got to put these kids away.
Police Sergeant Ken Roth used to work in downtown Los Angeles, where he accepted graffiti as a way of life. When he was transferred to the suburban San Fernando Valley, he was shocked that graffiti had spread from the inner city to the suburbs. He began to see the negative effect graffiti can have on a community.
Most people don't really feel upset about burglaries and robberies unless they're the victim. Whereas graffiti, everybody's the victim. If you take a neighborhood that's covered with a graffiti, everyone feels that they're overridden and that crime is rampant.
Part of the reason for this concern about crime is that most people believe that all graffiti is gang-related, when in actuality, gang members are responsible for only a small amount of all graffiti. But the graffiti they do write often leads to violence.
Some people put 187 because that's a code number for cop. That means murder in progress.
Just cross them off because we don't like them. We don't like a fool, we cross them out.
Like crossing people out, writing over somebody else's tag, instigates problems.
Or they circle you, that means that they're after you, they're gonna kill you.
Manuel Velasquez, a former gang member, now tries to mediate gang violence. By deciphering gang graffiti, he monitors tensions in the neighborhood and tries to stop the killings before the threats are carried out.
What you see here is rest in peace, R.I.P., in memory of Big Joe. Big Joe was a member of Crazy Boys gang. To deal with the grief of losing a homeboy, graffiti plays a big part in letting those feelings out. This wall right here is your typical traditional gang graffiti. What's written here in Old English is BSL, which means Brownstone Locos. And what they do is they'll advertise in big giant letters. The bigger the letter, the more publicity they're going to get. They'll identify the street that they're from within the gang, and then they'll go and actually name themselves.
Some people write on walls like they do dollar signs, or they spell PCP on the wall, something. That means they sell drugs on that street. That means they sell dope.
I've been at this job almost 10 years now, and when I got started, there was only 14 gangs throughout the valley. Today we're dealing with about 200. So it's grown. We got about 10,000 gangbangers in the San Fernando Valley.
seen them many times out here doing it. You know, I knew they were doing it, but I didn't know if it was safe to come out and say anything.
Like these guys right now. I mean, we're doing this thing, and they can care less. You know, I can go over and say, chill out, and they'll tell me to go screw it.
Rarely will people come forward who have seen individuals actually commit acts of graffiti vandalism.
Fear factor is the biggest problem that a lot of people won't get involved because they're fear of retaliation because you remove graffiti.
Though their painting is illegal, graffiti artists take pride in their work because they consider it art. They believe their talent sets them apart from taggers and gang members who simply scrawl their nicknames.
How many people do you know can pick up a can and just go off and do a beautiful masterpiece on the wall?
There's no room for error. You get up to a wall, you get a spray can, and you do it. There's no erasing. I think art needs more of that. It's lost its raw edge, and this is the last art that has it.
Just everyone wants to compete to get the best style. Everyone's searching for the best, freshest style. So.
The little bit larger signatures, which are like throw-ups. Motion bombing is like when you take the same bubble letter and you just do the outline of the letter without filling it in.
Block style is just like intricate, complicated letters that connect, and you get creative as you can. And burners is just something that's just like fresh. I mean, it has like colors. It's like got everything. It's just like burning, like shit's on fire, you know.
The largest piece I ever did was 3 stories high, about maybe 20, 30 feet across. I feel like that wall has turned into a whole different world.
One of my goals still is to hit the Great Wall of China, you know, do like a production on there. And someday be in the history books maybe, you know, be right up there with the masters, you know. Everybody wants the fame, you know. I mean, maybe not in fame like, maybe not media sort of fame, but fame as in like respect with the other writers.
Like the graffiti artists, taggers also crave fame. But for taggers, quantity, not quality, brings recognition. Their goal is to get their name up in as many places as possible.
Anywhere you can hit, any place.
Yeah, any place.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
If you're there, you got a marker, can you hit it? Some places are better because
Permanent.
like,
Some places
yeah, landmarks, you know.
Freeways too,
yeah,
there's like
landmarks,
heavens and
permanent.
stuff.
They want to do it so that it constitutes a challenge. They want to vandalize areas where other taggers or other individuals will see it and go, my goodness, how did he do that? Or how was he able to reach that sign? Or how could he reach that point on that bridge?
You don't want to get something that's just going to be gone the next day.
Like the next day. You want to like have
Stay
it
up.
Now everybody's doing this freeway now, and it's kind of dangerous. You gotta climb up a pole, and then you're out there, and you gotta spread your legs real wide. You could fall off and land in the middle of the freeway. You get it down, and you do it. You get fame. You get a lot of fame.
And then on buses, they travel and stuff. And the more they travel, you know, the more somebody else will see your name.
Goes over 5 counties. You could tag a bus in the south end of LA and it'll show up in the valley or out in Pomona somewhere, and there goes your name just traveling. It's just a traveling billboard.
You know, you just gotta get onto a marker, you know, head out and hit you some buses and some walls.
Graffiti has become a $4 billion problem for property owners all over the nation. Municipalities, cities like mine, are spending an exorbitant amount of money. It's really a shame that we have to spend that kind of money on a vandalistic terrorism, such as graffiti.
The actual dollar amount of damage to RTD property, which is mainly buses, but there is other property that they damage, it's in excess of $10 million.
The reason it's so expensive to clean a freeway overhead sign is that to do it properly, we have to close the traffic lanes under the freeway and that cost throws the cost up to probably $3,000-4,000 for the closures, plus another $2,000-3,000 to paint out the sign.
The most difficult problem is catching the people who are involved in painting the graffiti. And there's a strong feeling that that would require a tremendous amount of people, the police officers being taken away from the more serious, the real serious crimes that are jeopardizing the community.
You rarely catch the graffiti writers, short of either being very lucky and happening to see them do it, or having a stakeout. It's very, very hard.
We spotted 3 taggers getting up on a freeway sign, and they threw the grappling hook over the walkway on the freeway sign, and they climbed up the rope, and it took them about 15 minutes to tag the back of the freeway sign, and by the time we phoned it in, but unfortunately they left before we had the law enforcement.
Like, okay, you know when you're driving and then like the freeway where it says where you're going and stuff with lane again, and all right, we were hitting one of those, and the cops came and like they saw us. They were right there, and they were like, there's no use of running, so everybody just jumped down and like grabbed the pole, and from like the midair it's like bow, like that, and then scaled across the thing, and then went down to the bushes and bailed out.
We're putting barbed wire around the poles to try to prevent the taggers from getting up there. And some of the other things that we may be considering is maybe some sort of a shock type treatment, some sort of voltage apparatus.
We had one situation where we did what we call a Trojan horse or Trojan bus. We waited for the suspects to vandalize probably 7 or 8 buses at once, and then what we did, we drove our bus in loaded with nothing but police officers. The taggers were all there, and we got out of the bus and took them all into custody. I think we got 16 in custody that day.
You're not to own or possess any spray paint cans or white tip markers. You're to complete 1,560 hours of graffiti removal.
Daniel Ramos, writing under the name Chaka, became the most notorious tagger in Los Angeles. Chaka's graffiti resulted in more than $500,000 in damage. He received the stiffest sentence yet for graffiti vandalism.
On counts 23, 25, 29, and 47, probation is denied. You're to spend 180 days in the county jail, Mr. Ramos.
Well, I think it's a very stiff sentence for someone who is only a few months beyond being a juvenile to actually be thrown in jail.
Daniel was not a gang member. He's just a victim of society. I mean, he didn't have anywhere to go. It was better than doing drugs, and it was better than joining gangs, so he wrote his name everywhere.
You think you learned a lesson? I hope so. But Chaka couldn't resist the temptation of putting his name up one more time in a public place. He was caught the next day for tagging his name on a courthouse elevator.
When you start writing, I don't know, you can't, your hand just like wants to write your name. It's like, and it wants to draw and everything. You can't help it.
You'll be in a restaurant with your parents, and like you have a napkin.
Yeah.
And
you
then
just
you
want to
gotta
write.
grab a pen, boom, on the napkin.
It's like a habit, man.
Yep.
It's addictive.
I probably easily got about 125 cans on me, you know, which is quite a lot, just to have in the trunk of your car.
Back when we started our crew, people were like stealing paint all day, painting all night.
Paint is very expensive. You know,
It's getting hard to rack.
It's like $3 a can. One piece is going to take like 10, 15 cans. That's a good 40 bucks, 40, 50 bucks per piece. So, you know, you got to steal your paint.
Racking is stealing. And you do this.
Coming up. I just got busted last week and I still got a marker in my pocket. I mean, I'm doing stuff.
Extreme sentences don't always work, so the courts and legislators are trying to come up with alternative measures to deal with the problem.
Anyone arrested for graffiti is going to get mandatory suspension on his license for 1 year. Another area that they're working on is requiring that all businesses lock and secure any type of spray can and also the larger markers. These kids aren't going to be able to steal them anymore because they're going to be all locked up.
If an individual commits an act of graffiti vandalism for the first time, has no prior criminal record, he may receive graffiti removal.
I feel as though that they owe society, they owe their community to come back and clean off the graffiti that they have put out in the community by doing community service hours.
One town refused to simply stand by and wait for laws to take effect. In the city of Sylmar, Charlotte Bedard and Hannah Dyke decided they had seen enough graffiti and began to fight back. They founded the Sylmar Graffiti Busters. Using volunteers and court referral workers, they set out to clean their town.
The people of Sylmar were beginning to look for a better place to live. We were hearing frequent statements like, it's getting terrible here, we have to do something about this. And that's really what prompted us to push a little harder to get the Graffiti Busters going.
It was so massive undertaking because graffiti had been around for many, many years, and the problem was so great.
There was some question as to whether two little gray-haired ladies could accomplish very much.
The hours that we put into the Graffiti Busters in the beginning was 7 days a week, 9 hours a day. We clean everything from city sidewalks or city property. That could be stop signs and mailboxes, the street lights, poles. You're out working in the community and you worked a Saturday and a Sunday and it was hot and you went home and you came to work Monday morning and the walls were graffitied again. It was discouraging to me in the beginning to see it, that the kids were right back doing it again.
They try to find spots where it's difficult for us to get to, and we find them immediately. If they put it up and it's taken down immediately, they have lost their goal.
You've got a writer, or a tagger, or a bomber as we call them, and that person has to remove his or her graffiti as well as the graffiti of other people. They're not going to like that, and they're going to remember what they went through.
I got busted doing graffiti. I'm working with the Graffiti Busters. I have to do 300 hours. I had to pick up my name a few times, but I didn't feel so good. That's all right, though. If I didn't, somebody else had to.
We receive $44,000 a year to clean 27.5 square miles of Sylmar. That is the equivalent of one employee. No way could the city do the work that we do with one employee.
The community groups have been doing very well. The city hasn't been doing well at all.
The city is like putting a Band-Aid on the problem. They've got to address the whole issue of all of Los Angeles City.
We're spending millions and millions of dollars every year just painting over this graffiti, and there's got to be a better way.
Maybe they can make more legal yards so everybody could go down there and do whatever they want.
Yep.
Maybe that's it, but I don't think, no.
I don't think there's any solution because no matter what, people are always going to catch a tag, do something.
All these people cleaning graffiti, wiping it off as soon as it gets on, doesn't affect me. It just gives me more incentive to go out there. I challenge them. They're not in front of me, they're in back of me. They don't know where I'm gonna strike next. They don't know how big or how small or at what time. So it's like, I'll always be ahead.
Once they clean it, a writer's just gonna say, yeah, a white wall, let's go hit it.
It's like what we want to do, because, you know, we teenagers, we young, we restless,
Kids
you
will be
know.
kids. They gotta
so we
understand.
run around, you know. It's hard to get that through our heads.
We like to challenge the establishment. But when you're young and you don't own anything, it's real easy to challenge authority and say, well, gee, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I don't care.
We have not cured the people doing the graffiti from their reasons for doing it.
They feel isolated, alienated, outside the mainstream of society, and they're kind of in their own way crying out for attention, crying out for help.
They're not redirecting the kids into anything else. School programs are getting cut. After-school aid is always being cut. So the kids, and then they turn around and their art is being cut. So it's like, where do they go? They're trapped.
There's a lot of kids with a lot of talent out there. And a lot of times these kids are overlooked.
Graffiti is the only art form that's taking a risk.
These kids that call themselves artists have really got to laugh.
I try not to be a critic and decide whether it's art or graffiti. If they don't have permission, then it's vandalism.
When some so-called graffiti artists say that all they're doing is exercising their freedom of expression, the thoughts that come to my mind are, what about my freedom or other people's freedoms of quiet enjoyment of their surroundings?
I'm pretty offended by all the billboards I see every day when I drive down the freeway. You know, they got like a company that has money, they can buy a building and they can put their name real big on top of the building. It's the same thing we're doing, except we advertise illegally.
Graffiti's here to stay forever. They're not gonna stop the political people that got political statements. They're never gonna stop two lovers from carving their name in a tree or writing their name on a rock. Graffiti is here to stay. It's a part of communication.
And you're always going to have the ones out there that's going to say, we're never going to stop doing it, we're going to keep on doing it. And these are the ones that we have to get to let them know that we are not going to tolerate what they're doing. We will put a stop to it.
Fortunately, because of what the graffiti busters have done, we don't have problems like you see over here.
A few people still mob Silmar, not that much no more, because they know if it goes up, by next week they'll be gone.
Silmar graffiti busters are the best example that the city has to show other communities that, yeah, you can get up and take care of business. You need that pride in your community. You got to be proud where you live.
Pride. That's really what it's all about. You see, it takes a special kind of pride, the kind of pride people living in Silmar have to wage the continuing war against graffiti. Now, whether the people who live in urban areas have enough pride to continue the fight remains to be seen. But they did in Silmar. And more communities throughout the country are following Silmar's example. But the war against graffiti may be, in the end, impossible to win. I mean, come on, to an artist, a tagger, or a gang member, a clean, blank surface is an irresistible canvas. Another opportunity to create, to achieve a splash of fame and recognition. A graffiti writer's pride means that no matter how often the graffiti is erased, it will return in one form or another.